just that backyard style of football is not what they're used to. And Gardner Minshew is that traditional quarterback that maybe he's not Mahomes. Mahomes is, you just said it earlier, coming from a fan of not Mahomes, he could be easily right now, if we just ended football right now, he could be a top 5 of all time. The problem is I want to protect him, and I want a traditional guy back there that's just going to make the throws that you're supposed to make and not try to do more than you need to do. Mahomes is always going to do that, and I'm never going to fault him for that. A lot of people argue, well, Mahomes throws, 10 to 13 interceptions a year. I don't give a fuck. Throw 15 to 20 a year. As long as you're winning games and you're doing what you've been doing all your career, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care, because that's the style of football he plays. I want that 12 completion in a row, Gardner Minshew throwing right now while our best guy is Tyquan Thornton. I love him. I don't know. What was this guy? Come from Patriots? I don't know where the fuck he came from. And Mahomes had some of those traditional passes. He had a bullet to Tyquan's hands in the end zone that only Tyquan could catch. And it was one of the prettiest throws I've seen out of Mahomes his entire career. And it was 4 touchdowns. It helped us out, but we're not going to get that every fucking play from Mahomes. It's a stupid thing that will never happen. There's no way Mahomes or Andy Reid goes for, I don't want to say the word benching, because he's still, in my eyes, the best quarterback in the league, but especially with the other best, in my opinion, going down at this point, although Lamar and Josh Allen, luckily we're all in the AFC. The NFC sucks, right? But I don't know. I'm happy we won, but I'm not like, holy shit, we're back. We're not back. We're not even fucking close. And we have Baltimore coming up this week, and I'm terrified. I am truly terrified.
So
I wanted to go to that game.
Here's what I wanted to get to.
Glad I'm not.
Let me interrupt you for a second, because here's what I wanted to get to about that. You still need to win games, right? So your 2 of your next 3 games, you have the Jags in the middle of this, but you have the Ravens and the Lions with the like the bread around the Jaguar sandwich. You want to start Gardner Minshew in those games? If you have a chance, the Lions game I can understand a little bit more than the Ravens game. Here's the thing, though. You have the best chance to win with Mahomes in the game against the Ravens, and the farther you can push them down in their own division and in their own conference, I mean, they're 1-2 right now. If they can take a couple of losses in a row and they're potentially, scrapping for a wild card spot, like if you have an opportunity to win that game, like I said, I understand that not even a non-conference, non-divisional, non-conference opponent in the Lions, you can take that loss and live with yourself. The Lions are a good team. The Ravens thing, though, I think that if you have a chance to win that game, you put everything into winning that game at a minimum. I think Minshew could probably, from your point of view, looking at it, I think he could beat the Jags. I think he could beat the Raiders. The Commanders is going to be a tough game. And then you got like Bills, Broncos, Colts. You have a tough schedule ahead. But, at least, speaking for, the Jaguars and the Raiders games, if you can get to the Commanders game, right, and Worthy's back, and that's post 6 games, right, so Rashid should be back
as well. Yep.
So if you can get to the Commanders game, that would be fine. But I think you really do need to field, like I would, if I was a Chiefs fan, and I would want everyone to be playing against the Ravens. I think you want to push them down, make them have to scrap as much as they can for postseason position.
I'm with it, right? And I'll never disagree with this fact, especially being a Chiefs fan. Mahomes, at any point, no matter who's on that field, Mahomes is your best shot to win.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to Flag on the Play podcast. This is the Duke coming at you with my partner in crime, Billy. We're going to hit everything football today: touchdowns, disappointments, and the Chiefs, which is below disappointments. Let's get into it, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. We're going to obviously get there, but the Chiefs did get their first win of the season, and yet I am still just like, what in the fuck are we doing? And I've got some ideas that are, to put it lightly, off the absolute fucking wall. When I first kind of talked about this with a few other people, they were like, what in the hell are you talking about? And you're probably wondering the same. So we will get there eventually. But for those of you watching, obviously there was no episode last week. We had some technical difficulties. So welcome to this week's episode. There is a special kind of, I guess, not bonus episode, but bonus video that's up, and I think it's going to be a reoccurring thing, probably between the both of us. So we're going to work on that and try to work on getting better. But how was your weekend? I mean, any surprises to you out there?
Yeah, I was surprised that the Bengals got their asses beat so badly. I mean,
was a big one.
I made the huddle up video. You should check it out if you want to hear my real take on how I feel about the whole Bengal situation. But this is, as Coach Zach Taylor, hopefully soon to be stay-at-home dad Zach Taylor said, it is one game, it is one loss. Can't let it seep into the rest of the season. You can't be a mental midget. You got to move forward. So that is a quote from him. He used the word midget, not me. Just kidding. That's allegedly however you get out of that. It went pretty good other than that. My fantasy year is shattered. I'm 0-3. We'll get into some of that stuff later on. But how was your weekend, buddy? You got to be feeling good.
It was good to finally get a win on the board and on prime time. I had a busy weekend outside of that. Wedding stuff as usual. I had... it was not the greatest wedding I've ever attended filming in my life. I'll just put it that way. And
what kind of wedding was it?
It was a normal wedding.
Just a regular, was it a religious wedding or a non-religious wedding?
No. It was actually, interestingly enough, it was at a spot that a friend of mine, it was actually my wife's college roommate. She had also got married at the spot. And when I arrived, I kind of looked and I was like, why does this place feel so familiar? The problem is it looked like nothing I can remember. I was like, what is this place? But why does this drive and everything? I mean, we're talking 7-8 years ago. It's probably close to 6 or 7 years ago. And I was like, I just feel like there was a Target up the road. And I was like, I remember this Target. I remember going to this Target. And it had to have been closed. So her venue must be closed. So then I texted my wife and I was like, hey, what venue was the friend's name is Amanda? So what venue was she at? And so she had texted me back. It was, I think it's called Oaks at Waterfront or something like that. I was like, that's weird. That's exactly where I'm at. But this is not the place where she got married. So what they did was they actually rebuilt the entire fucking area. So it's a extremely large plot of land. The main building, which is like an inn / where the indoor dining and stuff like that, so the reception and everything takes place. That was completely remodeled, redone. They had a boating dock that was completely remodeled, redone, and then they built all these little cottages on the property.
Was this the problem? What was the problem?
Oh, that's not the problem. The bride was the problem. I won't get into it.
Just Bridezilla? Bridezilla issues?
Yeah, 100%. First one I've ever experienced too. So.
That's fun shit, dude.
At the end, I think she was fine. I get it. You're stressful at weddings. Yeah. You want your day to go perfect. You paid a shit ton of money for it. And you just want everything to fall in line. And I think any future brides out there, it just doesn't work out that way. Just try to enjoy your day. Let things happen as they happen. I can't guarantee you, but I can almost assure you that your day will work out exactly how you thought it was going to be. Have a couple drinks. Chill out.
I mean, on that side of things, I would also encourage anyone to just let the day happen. That's why you have a day of coordinator. That's why you have a coordinator. You have a maid of honor, a best man. Let people handle shit for you. Because, listen, there were things that weren't exactly the smoothest at my wedding as well. And we had no idea about them until the day after. And by then it didn't matter. And we had a good time. Everybody else had a good time. And it was just one of those things. So just delegate everything to somebody else and you can always have a good time. That's the lesson. That's the life lesson.
Yeah, I had a buddy that also got married who didn't have a coordinator. The venue had gotten like sold or something even before they got there. They had no idea. And it was a bit of a disaster, but I think thankfully we pulled it off. It turned out to be an awesome time, minus the fact that it was in June. It was hot as hell. And we decided from then on, we are definitely hiring a coordinator, and we sorted that shit out real quick.
And speaking of coordinators, maybe somebody needs to hire an NFL coordinator to start coaching the Clemson Tigers, because Syracuse laid it down on them on Saturday. 34-21 final score. Clemson,
wow.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
They must not be ranked anymore.
They are not. They are not ranked anymore, and they're 1-3 on the season. It just goes to show you that the preseason college football rankings might be the worst in-place system of all time. Where
I agree.
Just people's opinions and who they like and who did well the year before, and it means nothing. I mean, inexcusable if you're Clemson and who's it? Dabo? Dabo's he's got to be on the hot seat. Yeah, dude, he's got to be on the hot seat at this point. I mean, Syracuse, it's not the worst loss in the world, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
but it brings. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying 34-21. That's got to feel great to you. I know the Bengals shit the bed, but I mean, now Clemson hasn't been ranked, and they've obviously been on a steady, very steady decline. But to take out a big school like that, in a game for your school who struggles to either get ranked or really kind of be a part of the story at the end, like that's got to feel fucking great.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love beating Clemson, dude. Clemson was when Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson. And the Syracuse actually was the one were the guys who injured the original starting Clemson quarterback that gave Trevor Lawrence his first kind of like boost off into the game. So yeah, that wasn't great. I think that was his freshman year. It was either that or a redshirt year, but it's the Orange are 3-1 on the season, and it's the schedule does get harder, but hey, it's looking up. I mean, the next couple of weeks, you got Duke, you got SMU. Those aren't the worst. Pitt, I'm a little afraid of. Georgia Tech, I'm scared of. But then you got like UNC, very winnable game. Miami, that's a loss. Got to just take our licks there. Notre Dame, if we get our shit together, we could be competitive in that Notre Dame game at the end of the season, and we could be fighting for a ranking if we can kind of run the table here, maybe accept the two ranked Georgia Tech and Miami opponents. I mean, losing to 16-2 in the nation, nothing to be ashamed of there. I think we could be like a 23 rank or something in that area if we could find a way to string a couple wins together here. And I'm extremely excited about the rest of the college football season for us. How'd your boys do?
Yeah, I just to kind of cap that off. I mean, at worst, a bowl game, and in today's NIL kind of deals that are going on with college, like it's a matter of just kind of building that program up, and then it's highly possible these days that any school, as long as they're willing to pay out some money, can build a team to actually go on a run. And with that being said, my guys took care of business this weekend. We beat Auburn. Only 24-17. I can't remember if Auburn was ranked before this game. Post-game rankings, we are up to number 7. However, we got some bad news this week, and our quarterback's going to be out for a bit. Somebody who's actually kind of turned our entire program, at least offensively, around. We got a defensive-minded coach. No, Jackson Arnold plays for Auburn now, actually.
Oh, shit. No, I'm looking at the wrong. Okay, so you're saying, John, how do you pronounce his name? John Mateer?
Mateer, yeah. So I guess
Gary Bertier is going to be out for you guys?
He's got a bum hand or something, and it's going to require surgery, but they expect him to be back. That to me sounds like stitches or something. I don't know what surgery on your hand, on your throwing hand, that you're going to get and then be able to come back in the season. I mean,
what's
these
the
games,
depth chart looking like over there in the quarterback room?
I have no clue. So that's the problem with me in college. I don't get to pay attention as much as I'd like to. Chances are we don't have a good backup quarterback. So,
well, good news for you is your next game's against Kent State. So you just got to kind of survive Kent, and then you go to Texas. That's kind of important. Hopefully, it's not a long term, and maybe you just miss a week and then he comes back for Texas, because you kind of got to run a gauntlet there a little bit. Like you have Texas, South Carolina, who they're not the best team, but they're no easy win. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri. I mean, you finish off with all ranked opponents, basically 4 straight ranked opponents. No, 5.
There's a lot of winnable games there. Texas was the one though, with the way our team's been playing. I was so looking forward to it, and now it just seems like a lost cause. Like,
well, I'm going to
unless
reserve.
we can come back in 2 weeks,
I called Oklahoma they were my college football champion this year early on. I think a couple episodes ago I called that early, but I'm going to reserve the right to change my mind, but I'm not going to change my mind yet till I hear more about the severity of this injury.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to know. I mean, with that win, we leaped over Texas. Even though Arch is playing bad, or Archie, whoever the fuck this kid is, I don't know that a back. I mean, I'm looking too. Mateer was even our leading rusher for the game, pulling a little Mahomes here. I mean, 10 carries though for only 29 yards, but he did get a touchdown there and threw for a touchdown, 271 yards in the air. So, good on that. It's a good weekend, obviously, for sports for me, except for Chase Elliott. But I digress on that one.
He finished 5th.
He finished 5th?
Yeah.
I thought I saw him finish like 12th. Did I look at the wrong thing?
I thought he finished 5th.
I thought he was outside even the top 12, honestly. I thought he finished actually like 16th.
What? That can't
Terrible track, though. I mean, let's talk about NASCAR for just 1 second. New Hampshire's got to go, right? It's a fucking awful track.
I like New Hampshire. I think if there was one thing I could change about New Hampshire, I would add a little bit of banking so it wasn't so flat. But I like that it's a shorter, wide track.
Oh, he did finish 5th. Yeah, so, we were talking about right before we got on here that I'm obviously super into sim racing. I'm going to convince you soon enough to get into it. We're going to at least play some NASCAR 25 when it comes out. I'm very excited about that. I'm building a sim rig behind me. And this week's race, so now that I'm climbing up in the rankings, I realize that what they try to do is follow that NASCAR schedule. So, like, this week we got Kansas coming up, and I'm very excited to race that on the sim rig.
That's a good track.
But this last week has been New Hampshire. And dude, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out in the old NASCAR video games. And now here I am in a sim running the same setup as everybody else in the truck series. And I just could not. I finished second in one race. I finally had a race where I was finally finding speed, but I still feel like it wasn't enough. Not like your typical 1.5 mile kind of track. And I know it's like short track, kind of like, but that flat, it's so fucking flat, like minimal banking. You can't get on the gas too quick or you're just going to spin your vehicle out. Like, it's bad. And I don't like it. And the fact that it's so wide, especially in a video game, people are like, oh, well then, turn 1, lap 1, we can just go 4 or 5 wide, right? And it never worked out. Accident after accident. The higher go up, they're finally throwing cautions when accidents happen, as long as they're bad enough. Like, it's very interesting. But after doing that and then just thinking about it, like, I'm a Junior fan from the past, turned Chase Elliott fan, and neither one of my drivers have been superb at this track. Chase Elliott being much better from the memory that I have. But, yeah, he did finish 5th, though. So that's actually, hey, good weekend. 5th in the playoffs, like, you can't beat that.
Change your mind.
But I'm very much excited about Kansas coming up.
I agree, but let's get into the league, dude. Let's talk about some of the games. I wanted to start with, the Thursday night game. We had the Dolphins at the Bills.
Daniel does just enough to not get fired.
Yeah, Dolphins showed some life in that game, huh? 21 points against the Bills, only lost by 10, which, I mean, losing by 10 is never a good feeling, but if you're a Dolphins fan, it's got to feel kind of good against what's, considered to be a top 5 team in the league.
Yeah, they absolutely had the ability to possibly win this game. I kind of just turned it off because I was like, there's no way fucking Dolphins are winning this. So I didn't really pay attention as much as I probably should have. But from all accounts, I mean, Tua didn't throw for a whole lot of yards, but he threw for 2 touchdowns. A-Chain, 62 yards, which is kind of bringing him back. Tyreek Hill, 49 yards and a touchdown. He's a leader receiver. Still open for Kansas City to make that play there. But, hats off to the Dolphins, I guess. They get to keep their really bad coach, which is good for me as a Kansas City fan because that means the longer it goes and the just being bad over and over and over again means that at some point they're just going to start dealing for the next coach that they're going to bring in, which means we may potentially get Tyreek back. Or somebody will get him.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway from the game is I really like the kid Malik Washington, the receiver. He's kind of turned into their gadget guy, and they're like third. They're like solidified wide receiver 3, but I like him a lot. And if the Dolphins do move on from either Hill or Waddle, look for him to step up and be big. Same with Ollie Gordon, dude. He looks like kind of a force. He's a big-bodied dude, rumbling, bumbling, tumbling, as one might say. And I like both of those players a lot. They might start splitting the backfield a lot, especially to preserve the health of Achan, Akine, however you say it. Yeah, dude. I mean, their carry split wasn't that. I mean, you're talking about Achan with 12, Ollie Gordon with 9. So it's basically, even if they continue that pattern and then Gordon's getting all the goal line work, fantasy managers look out for that. But also, like, I like what I see out of some of those young guys. I think they got to move on from Tua, dude. I think Tua is just, the experiment's over, dude. He's just not going to be him, especially with the injury history and all the concussions and the fact that he's a lefty. So just watching him throw the football doesn't look right. I don't know, dude. I think you're...
Yeah, we're gonna get to another lefty that doesn't look great, but that's coming up in a few games here. But I agree with that. I mean, when we really look down to it, I get it. Like, a lot of these Bama quarterbacks are going, like, very high up in draft, if not number 1 overall. And, you look at the difference, Jalen Hurts was sat, and don't be wrong, we're going to absolutely, I'll just say it now, Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. He's not great by any means. Congrats to him. He finally threw a fucking touchdown, finally threw for over 100 yards in a game. Like, he's just not good. And in Alabama, Jalen got to back up Tua and then had to leave and go to Oklahoma. And so it's like, oh, this guy's, the next great thing. But, out of those, 2 to 3 years there, I mean, realistically, I guess
if I remember correctly,
Burrow is the best.
If I remember correctly, Jalen was the starter, and then he got hurt. And
Opposite.
Then
Tua got hurt. Tua constantly got hurt. He constantly had ankle issues.
Okay.
So he was one of the ones to get this, like, specialized ankle surgery that will bring him back quicker than anybody has ever come back from this massive ankle injury, which was a concern coming out of college. But he's able to play and play in the playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this. This will make me look bad. But, again, don't get to watch a whole lot of college. I believe he won a national championship. And at that point, Jalen was already in Oklahoma. Or, no, he still backed up Tua, but then transferred that next year to Oklahoma.
Okay.
So, yeah, he came in and played some games, so it felt as if he did very good, which helped him with that transfer to Oklahoma to be able to get that starting job somewhere else.
All right, well, let's come back around to the Jalen Hurts thing when we get to the Eagles game. But
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Tua's just out there. I'm with you, but
who do you think would be a good who do you think is who would be a good replacement for Tua at this point?
I mean,
like, if they were to make a mid-season change.
I mean, you're gonna have to get on the trades. I mean, you got some good backup quarterbacks out there right now that are doing well. Like,
you think Kirko
Mac
Chains?
Jones, Kirko Chains, fucking Carson Wentz. I mean, the problem is some of these people are notable backups.
Let's not
Kirko
be
Chains
mistaken. Carson Wentz did not play well. The Vikings defense played well. We'll get to that too.
Okay. Well, yeah, we will get to that, obviously.
Don't give me that
problem
look.
The problem with Kirko Chains is he's too much money. So unless the Falcons are going to eat it, it's one of those.
I saw a tweet come out today that the Atlanta was looking or shopping him around, but they wanted a high value draft pick and for the team to also take the majority of his contract, which is nuts. That's
I like
nuts
Kirk
to me.
Cousins.
I like Kirk, but he's not. He's first of all not worth that contract, and he's certainly not worth a high round draft pick. Certainly nothing in the first 4 rounds. Maybe a 5th rounder at best.
I'll give him a first. I'll give him. I won't give him a first. I'll give Atlanta a 2nd round pick, as long as they eat the contract. That's what that would be worth.
No, I would give him. I'll give you. Depending on the team, I might give you a 4th. I'll give you a 4th round pick, and I'll take 50% of the contract.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Miami is they also pay Tua, right? So they've already got money invested into a quarterback, and they've got to let it play out at this point. So I would assume they have 2 years left on that contract, 2 years.
They could look at a Jameis Winston. They could look at a Russell Wilson who got benched now for Jackson Dart. That's kind of his thing, right? He throws rust bombs, and you have all that speed on that team. That's kind of all they need to do is run go routes and toss it down the field. That was kind of what they were built to do. That might be the way to go, but I don't know. Yeah, I think the Dolphins need to move on from Tua if they're going to see any success. Anyhow, moving on. We'll get to the rest of that later. We can talk about the Bengals game now. I don't want to elongate it. Talk about it. If you want to see, like I said, more thoughts on that, you can watch the huddle. That is also released on the channel. But basically, the Vikings defense came in and whooped our fucking asses. And it just goes back to the fact that, like, the talent scouting and the misses by the personnel department in the Bengals front office on some of these veteran and young offensive linemen that they've been bringing in to try to piecemeal something together, it's not working. And they need to be the GM or whoever's making the personnel decisions for that needs to be replaced, and the power needs to be given to somebody else. The only problem is that Cincinnati is like the last people who will make any type of organizational changes. But it was a shitty game. I don't think that the Vikings looked that great.
Jordan Mason looked pretty fucking incredible.
Well, we have like the worst rush defense in the league, so pretty fucking incredible. 116. He didn't put up 200 yards on us. He had like a Derrick Henry average game. Without the fumbles.
Yeah. Let's talk about that though. You got your Derrick Henry CMC, a healthy CMC, not the CMC we're seeing today because he's not running a whole lot. He's catching passes, but he's not running. But a Derrick Henry, a Saquon Barkley. There's only really a less than a handful of backs that are capable. Jonathan Taylor, right? Those 3 backs are probably the ones that can actually put up those types of numbers. Meanwhile, Jordan Mason is
116 yards and 2 TDs, dude.
116 yards and 2 TDs is well above the average of the running back situation.
Let's talk about it. Saquon can do it. Derrick can do it. Jahmyr Gibbs can do it. Bijan Robinson could do it. Josh Jacobs could do it. Kyron Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor could do it. David Montgomery might have been close to doing it last night. Bucky Irving could do it. James Cook can do it.
I don't see Bucky or James doing it. I think they're good, but they're not consistently putting up numbers like that.
They've done it. He's done it this year.
I don't think he has.
Hold on. We need to look this
Against
up.
who?
James. He had against the Jets. He had 132 yards and 2 TDs.
It's the Jets.
It doesn't matter. The Bengals are the Bengals. We have a terrible run defense.
That's true. All right. Either way, that is a good game. Look, I'm compared to my shitty running backs. Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying you can't say that there's plenty
That's a
of
good game.
Potential people who could do it. If you want to get in the weeds, if you put Breece Hall on a good team, he could do it. Kenneth Walker on a good team could do it. Chuba. James Conner probably couldn't do it with a torn ACL or whatever he's got, but that's
true. That's true. A little hard to run like that.
But not to take anything away from Jordan Mason. He looked fantastic.
Jordan Mason looked good.
He looked like he's going to replace Aaron Jones, potentially. They might be like 50-50.
You have to. Aaron Jones is, probably still younger than me, but too old for the NFL. You know what I mean? It's just how the cookie crumbles.
I'm still on the and I might be the only person still on it, but I'm still on the Jake Browning train. I don't think we go and waste a bunch of resources going out and trying to get a Kirk Cousins. If something was cheaply
can't afford it.
Cheaply available, Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the Bengals aren't going to spend any fucking money on that.
Right.
But I mean, like, I'm just talking about, like, if you asset wise, like, if you could trade, like, a super late pick for somebody who's, like, a defined, like, definitely better quarterback. But other than that, I mean, we just got to ride, dude. We need to win, one of the next 3 games. And that's it. We just need to be 500 through 6 weeks. We have a rough part of our schedule coming up. Broncos, Lions, Packers. Just got to find a way to win one of those games, and that's all we need. And if our offense decides to show up to a game, the defense has shown this year that they can generate turnovers, that they can generate sacks if, they're not on the field for 85 snaps a game consecutively. And, if the offense isn't fumbling, or if we're not turning the ball over 4 out of 5 consecutive offensive snaps, not like possessions, consecutive like plays.
Yeah.
That's nuts. But I mean, that's all I have to say about that for now. Like, I still have faith in my Bengals. I'm riding, I'm dying with them. So I'll be burning in the flames or flying on the eagle at the end of the year. We'll see. Or riding the tiger, I guess is what you would say as a Bengals fan.
Cap it off real quick, too. Carson Wentz, just as a heads up, hasn't played a meaningful game of football in like at least 2 years. 14 of 20, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, took care of the football, let the rest of the team do the work. I think that's a stellar game out of Carson Wentz. I saw some throws from him that looked like Carson of yesteryear, that rookie season that everybody fucking loves to talk about when it comes to him. I think he looks good, and I think he's a viable option for a team.
This happens, dude. He'll have like some moments, but he'll go and go back to him with the Colts, dude. He'll have like an okay game where you're like, all right, Carson, we're getting it going, and then the next game he has 5-6 turnovers. It takes 75 sacks.
And that's Carson Wentz. We'll see what happens this week. I mean, he played preseason and maybe like very last game of the season for the Chiefs, and he didn't look good at all. He looked terrible. Yeah. So I think this is a pretty good game for him, and it's a meaningful game of football as well. So it actually, they get the win, and congrats to the Vikings, I guess. Not for you, but
congrats to the Lions for keeping the Bengals in first place in the AFC North. First place another week. That's 3 consecutive weeks for first place, if anyone's counting. So that's more than all of last year.
That is true. Raiders, Commanders. Commanders take care of business, which is good for me. Raiders just suck. Commanders are better. Marcus Mariota also looked pretty good this weekend. 207 yards, 1 touchdown, but I'm also pretty certain that he also rushed for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, he rushed for a touchdown as well.
What do you think? You think the Raiders are in shambles at this point, or you think that they're fine? You think they can still make the playoffs? We don't have to go over every individual stat here, but let's talk about the game.
I think at the end of the day, Raiders are going to finish last, as they typically do in the division. I think they are in complete rebuild mode. I don't think Geno Smith is. I mean, Geno Smith still threw for 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, but they don't have the defense to handle teams. I mean, we got a backup quarterback in Washington, and letting them put up 41 points. I mean, the Raiders are the Raiders, and they just find ways to lose, and they're going to pull out some sneaky games here. I mean, pretty sure they beat Baltimore last year with a way worse team. Baltimore pulled up Baltimore and had a lead and lost it. So I don't know what's going on there. I really thought, it's good for me, but I really thought with a new coach and, adding Ashton, adding Geno, Jacoby Myers has been looking good. I really thought this was the year they turned around, and they just can't seem to get it done.
Nah, man, they got a tough schedule. They're a young team. They'll be on a roller coaster season. Unknown what the end of their season will look like, but I don't think it's anything that hit the panic button on the Raiders. They need some time. I don't think some assets to move around. I think the good thing if you're a Commanders fan is that the offense looked good. And I don't think that it's bad that it was without Jaden Daniels. I think it's probably good that these guys they get their motor running, so when he comes back, they're running on all cylinders. The thing that I'm concerned with if you're a Raiders fan is Commanders fans. The way that they've handled the backfield in the Dan Quinn era is not great. They just seem very hesitant to pick a number one back. They seem to split and share, and like it's always by committee. And I'm not saying that by committee is a bad thing, but they'll go 3, 4, 5 players deep by committee. I mean, you got Debo in the gadget plays. You have Jeremy McNichols, who ate this week, but then you also like Chris Rodriguez had the most touches out of any of them. And then you have your, young buck who you're trying to, turn into a star, old Bill Krosky Merritt. And, he's, seeing the least work, basically.
I think too,
it's a bit scary. I mean, yeah, if his production's a little down one week or another, that's a part of the learning process. But you got to get him the reps in. You got to commit. I think if you're the Commanders, I think if you're a fan, you want to see that too. You hate not knowing who's in the game. If you're watching a game and you're looking for numbers and name tags on the back of jerseys to see who what personnel group are we in? Like, what are we seeing? Like, that's not something that a fan, casual fan, should really be having to track during a game. I think you should know who your guys are. You should know, like, first, second down. I got Bill Krosky Merritt in third down. Maybe we bring in a Chris Rodriguez. Maybe we bring in a Jeremy McNichols, depending on what the down and distance is situation. Maybe if we have 1 yard to go, Bill stays in, old Krosky Merritt up the gut. But, like, you hate to see it where I get that you want to keep the other team guessing, and that schematically things may work a little different, but you don't want to keep your fans guessing. And you certainly, your players want to feel valued and like they have a standing, a position. And I think that that's hard to figure out when you're running, if you're a Commander's running back and the way that they're running the backfield with 3, 4 different guys at times.
Yeah, I think too, I wouldn't necessarily put this too much on Dan Quinn. I mean, I feel like this is definitely a Kingsbury thing. If I'm not mistaken, when he was the head coach of Arizona, I'm almost certain that's when they brought in James Conner. And so they made this move to get him, who was a stud in Pittsburgh. And then they kind of do a committee thing there too. He kind of shared that backfield. I don't remember with who, but I don't remember seeing him putting up the numbers I think that was expected in Arizona that he had in Pittsburgh, simply because he kind of shared. Now, he had some injuries and shit like that going on. The poor guy seems to be just constantly going through it. But, I mean, Kingsbury's the OC, and he's supposed to be a quarterback guy, I guess, and, just wanting air yards at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have some semblance of, if somebody's missing something, you either teach it to them or you replace them. If you're saying like, Bill can't block, teach him how to block, or you split the backfield in 2. But having 3, 4 guys in the rotation constantly,
it's a lot.
Like it is a lot, and I say Dan Quinn. I know you're talking about Kingsbury, but at the end of the day, Kingsbury is the also offensive coordinator. Who's responsible for him? Dan Quinn is responsible for him at the end of the day. Maybe not during the game, but the other 6 days of the week that they're not playing the game, somebody's holding Cliff accountable, and that's Dan Quinn. He's his direct report, and he needs to at the end of the day go to him and say, like, we need to get this guy right. We need to get this guy involved in the game. He needs to be our workhorse back, and then this guy's the change of pace back. But hey, who am I? I'm not a football expert. I'm not a genius. I'm not Kyle Shanahan.
Moving on, Rams shit the bed against the Eagles. They had this game kind of sealed up. They get a blocked field goal to lose the game. Matthew Stafford just did not play well.
How do we feel about the conspiracy
196?
Theories, don't worry about the stats. How do we feel about
theories?
that the Eagles are the new chiefs of the ref assistants, the referee assistants?
I mean, I watched them cheat against us, so I believe it.
There's a very questionable tush-push offsides call, specifically in this game when I believe that they were still down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. There was a very tic-tac pass interference. First of all, no call, and then call later in the game. So there's a no call against the Rams, and there's a call against the Rams as well. That was very much looking at the footage. It did not look to me like a PI call, but I'm not there to know. how much it actually affected anybody or whatever. But I think I picked the Rams to win this game, so I'm obviously going to say I think they got screwed out of a win here. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to, that last drive, you either got to keep possession or put yourself in a position to score points so that you're not, praying for a missed field goal or a blocked field goal.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly getting away with a whole lot of shit. I watched a snippet from Jason and Travis's podcast. Love Travis Kelce. Jason's the pseudo brother, and it seems like a good guy. But they had this whole cop out like fucking story of like, well, if you can't stop the play, then that's on you. Blah blah. No, you can't stop the play. They line up in an illegal formation to start, and then they get the false start that isn't called. So there's two penalties in one. It's not that you can't stop the play. It's impossible to stop. And, that's just a part of it. And then we add in, like you're talking about, some no calls here, a call here. Like, you got to it is the same thing as the Chiefs. And, I understand what people...
How do you feel about the Eagles fans who say, like, don't give them a down and one to go? You know what I mean? Don't put them in a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Keep them to it.
I would be the same way. They're not going to officiate it, right? And that's the story we keep hearing. Well, it's hard to officiate. Then the play doesn't belong. We talked about this last week, even though it didn't fucking work out. But it's not a play that should be in the game if you can't officiate it. If you can't officiate a specific play, it does not belong in the game. And unfortunately, we got to wait till next year to get voted on. But, I mean, it's been brought to so many people's attention. Even Adam Schefter came out and said, look, multiple times there are false starts here. And it's not just one guy. It's multiple guys. They're already lined up in an illegal formation. They're covering the ball. So I could see, it's hard to officiate because you can't see the fucking ball because the players are lined up over top of it.
Well, here's the thing. Why is it never called? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. You're talking to a Chiefs guy. And you're trying to pull it out of me. Oh, it's a conspiracy. They're the next Chiefs, right? They're not. I'm
not trying to pull it out of you. I'm wondering.
I don't get it. What is there to like about Philly, right? It's a part of one of the worst states in the entire world, right? It's Pennsylvania. Nobody who wants to be there. People are clearly just can't see, smell, feel anything. I don't get it. Why would you want to be there? It's a dog shit state. And then on top of that, like, I don't get what the NFL would be for this team. What is there to like about this team?
Why are the refs? You're saying they're ignoring everything, or you're saying they're not seeing it? Like,
somebody's ignoring it because it's impossible not to see. I'm seeing it in real time. I don't need a slow-mo version. I don't need 240 frames to slow down to half a frame per second to see slow-mo. And Jason and them talked about this. Yeah, of course, when you put it in this high frame rate and you slow it down, of course you can see. No, I can see it in real fucking time. It's not that hard to not see. You see a green helmet on both sides shoot forward before anybody else does anything else. Like, they're forward. The ball has not been snapped yet. It's a false start. And I don't understand why they're not calling it. I mean, it's as simple as that. It got the scrutiny from some of the top, media people, I guess, in the entire NFL, ESPN, the biggest conglomerate of them all that owns everything, probably owns half of the NFL. They're all talking about it, but yet the refs are like, nah, fuck it. Let them have it. They're a beatable team. I think the Eagles are going to eventually meet their match. It should have been this game. The Rams should be 3-0. Eagles should be 2-1. Realistically, if you look at the last 3 games, the Eagles should be 0-3. It's bad officiating, and then it's these little one-score games that they're barely just winning. And even this 33-26 doesn't even really reflect. It was a blocked field goal, and they were, 26 to, 27? Somewhere around there, 26-26. This is a go-ahead win for them. They got the field goal block, okay, and then the Eagles got like a fumble or something else. Something else happened in the game that caused the Rams to lose. But Eagles should be 0-3, and they're a beatable team, and
so
that's why we need Washington to continue what they're doing, get better, and win this division.
I'll comment on the tush push stuff because I think it made it seem like I'm pro tush push, and I'm not actually. I think it's an anti-football play. That's what I would call it. I don't think that is in the spirit of the game. Now, some boneheaded people would be like, well, the spirit of the game is to gain yards, and that's all the play does. But
it's a rugby play.
It is like kind of a rugby scrum, but the thing is that if a play is, you're saying impossible to officiate. I would say that it is just officiated differently than every other play. And the reason for that is because of the fact that it is a non-football play. So there are a couple things that you cannot, like, not only visually but just in general, that aren't officiated in the same way. And we've talked about this before off the pod, but forward progress is officiated so much differently on those tush push sneak plays than it is anywhere else. You can see if somebody stands up a quarterback in the backfield because they're, looking out for player safety, forward progress is called in 0.5 seconds. If somebody stands up a receiver on the side, they're going to call forward progress maybe a second and a half. On a run play, you might get 2 to 2.5 seconds before forward progress is called. On these tush push plays, these plays go for 6, 7, 8, 9, sometimes like over 10 seconds, and there's been no movement. And you can't tell me that there is, because you can't see it. You can't visually see the ball moving with your eyes, and there's no progress ever called. Like, forward progress goes out the window. It's like it's not even a rule on that play, which is ridiculous, because in the spirit of the rule, like I said, you stand up the quarterback. They're trying to protect the quarterback. And they have all these rules against, around what you can do with the quarterback and what you can't do with the quarterback. Well, you're calling, if I'm going to say if Tom Brady was, gets stood up or gets hit in the backfield, they're calling progress immediately. As soon as he gets touched, we're calling progress. But because it's Jalen Hurts and you look at him a little bit differently, you're going to give him 10, 11 seconds to get like pushed by these big 350-pound dudes forward a couple of yards just so they can get what they want. Like, you need to call it. You're not protecting the quarterback now. So now the NFL's whole line about wanting to keep the game safe for the quarterback and protecting the quarterback goes out the window, because you're letting him dick and dive and fucking crawl on the ground. And, secondly, there's no way to tell what the ball's doing. This is like when they came out with the ball on one of the, I think that this happened in this game. It happened in a game this week where they did a tush push like play, and the ball was stripped, and the other team came out of the pile with the football, but they did not award possession to that team. How are you going to do that? Because how do you know? You're not calling you're not calling progress. You have no idea. You can't track the football in the pile, so you have no idea when it was stripped or where it was stripped or what the conditions of that is. So now you're just saying we're just going to give the benefit of the doubt to the offense that this happened after we called the play dead, and you really have no fucking clue. At the end of the day, you cannot see what that football's doing in there with your naked eye during the course of the play. And sometimes you can't even see it with the camera angles after the play that you see on TV. They have 37 different camera angles, and sometimes it's just impossible to see what the ball's doing. And so they're just giving, they're saying, like, we implicitly trust quarterbacks to, tell the truth and say that they never get stripped and they never lose the football, and that if a defensive player comes out of the scrum with the football, that happened after the play was called dead, which is absolute nonsense. And that's why I'm saying it's a non-football play. It's not in the spirit of the game. It takes rules that are consistent in every other part of the game and creates inconsistencies with them. And I wanted it gone last year. I want it gone this year, and I will want it gone next year. But that's what I'll say about this. I like the Rams. The Rams look good. The Eagles, I think, are pseudo good. I think that they are not as good as they seem. They may win a lot of regular season games. They might turn into the Colts of the 2000s, where they might win 10, 11, 12, 13 games and then immediately lose in the playoffs to a better team when they get stood up. But I don't think that they're making it back to the conference championship, the Super Bowl. They're not as good of a team. They don't look as good. Maybe they make some moves to better their team. They have often done that in before the trade deadline and approaching the trade deadline. We'll see what happens. I liked everything I saw out of the Rams. I like them to, if they were to meet again in the playoffs, I would take the Rams again. I don't know that they could
100%.
beat the Rams again. And that's what I'll say about that. Let's move on to we kind of skipped over the AFC South games there, but let's talk about them for a sec. They are very quickly becoming not the worst division in football anymore.
Yeah, well,
I think
sure. One team is good.
I think
the other three are dog shit.
I think the Jags are good.
I think the Jags have a chance to get second in that division. Do I think they're a playoff team? Absolutely not. I think Trevor Lawrence still is questionable. They struggle against the Texans, which is reasonable because the Texans should have a good defense.
If you were to give me three things, so I just want you to tell me three traits. Like what three general traits does a team need to be a playoff team?
Above average defense.
Okay, would you say that Jacksonville has an above average defense? I think they have some key defensive pieces. I would say they're in the top half of the league.
Above average defense, but with that being said, an explosive offense. Either that or you need to have a top 5 defense. And I'm not sure that Jacksonville is there.
I would say that above average defense, right? I think you need a defense that can generate stops and turnovers. I think that they can hold up well against the run. I think that they can generate some sacks and potentially some turnovers. I think their soft spot is probably their defensive backs and their secondary. But that can be overcame. You just need to make sure that your line's getting home, which I think they can do. They have some good edge rushers down there. 2, I think you need a average quarterback, just an average quarterback. I think
you need an above average quarterback. I think you need more than that.
Okay. I think Trevor Lawrence is like right at the bar. Like you remember we used to joke in the office about Andy Dalton being like
that's the bar.
Yeah, that's Andy Dalton's bar. I think that's Trevor Lawrence now.
I can see that.
I think he's the replacement for that. So I think he's good enough to get there. And then I would say you need weapons, right? And ETN, he can be a weapon. He needs to show up to the game to be a weapon. The young kid Tootin, he's looked good a couple of times this year. If Brian Thomas Jr., he has a little bit of the yips right now, but if he can get his mind right, if he can get his mental game going, he's a top 10 wide receiver in the league. If Travis Hunter pulls his head out of his ass and just decides to commit to being a defensive back and stop trying to play both sides of the ball, he can be probably an elite cornerback.
I agree with that.
So, De'Ami Brown, he could be, if he's what you're considering the number 2 receiver, I think that he can be a number 2 receiver on a playoff team. Now, I'm not saying you're going to make it to the championship game or the Super Bowl, but I'm saying that you should be above average, top half of the league. You should be in contention for a wild card spot when it's all said and done. And I think that this team can and will be that. I think at the end of the year, they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot or in a wild card spot. And I think that, the Southern conferences between the AFC South or the Southern divisions, NFC South and AFC South, are generally the weaker divisions these past few years. And I think that it's generally considered that the AFC South has been worse, but I think it might be the NFC South now outside of the Bucks. They really got nothing. I think their lows are lower. Their high might be higher, but it's a single golden star on there. I like what I see out of the Jags. I think the Texans can be better than they are, but I just think they're too hurt.
I don't know what's going on with the Texans. I mean, my big issue with the Jags is you have Mr. Duval come in there, who's supposed to be this offensive guy, and I'm just not seeing it. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw 0 touchdowns. 222 yards was probably more than Mahomes. We'll check that. But he threw a pick. And like you said, Brian Thomas Jr., who's supposed to be the number 1 guy, is, 2 receptions all game. I'm not seeing the explosiveness I think they need out of that offense to really, really compete against really good teams. Texans are 0-3 right now. They don't look like they got it together. Stroud is just not – he's not there. We're hitting a 3rd year now. He threw 2 picks last game. I'm not seeing the full game. I'm with you on Travis Hunter probably should commit to DB. I didn't think he was good on either side of the ball, but then a mutual friend of ours decided to show me some plays as a DB. He's got potential to be a lockdown corner. So he has that ability. And on the offensive side, he's just not doing shit. But
Let me ask you this: if the Jags play the Saints, who are you taking to win that game?
Jags, easy.
Jags play the Falcons, who are you taking to win that game?
Or after last week, Jags.
Jags play the Panthers, who are you taking to win that game?
It'll be tough. I think the Panthers turn the corner. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to take the Panthers.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is that and we both would agree that the Bucs would probably win the game against the Jags. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a check mark. Now, walk me through. Let's flip the other side of that coin. The Saints. Or Saints or Titans? Who do you think's worst team? Saints or Titans?
The Saints. I mean, I think the Saints are the worst team in football right now.
Yeah. You think Titans or Falcons?
I think Titans.
All right, Texans or Falcons?
That's a toss-up. I think they're both equally as bad right now.
All right, Texans or Panthers?
I see what you're getting at. So all the writing's on the wall that Jacksonville is probably going to win this division, unless some of these teams.
No,
turn
the
this shit around.
Colts are going to win the division. Let's not get carried
I forgot
away.
about the Colts. You're right. The Colts are probably going to win this division.
The Colts are
but
far
Jacksonville
and
could
away
be second.
Yeah, I think the Colts are better than the Bucs this year. I think they're a significant amount better than the Bucs.
We got to remember
also.
that AFC's loaded, and I think there are going to be some. I think there's going to be some surprise teams that are going to do well, not only just get into the playoffs, but even make it to the next round in the playoffs. But we're talking teams like Pittsburgh, who has made the playoffs, they've been there 50-50. Fucking, Mike Tomlin is above 500 every year, whatever it is, or at 500 or above. But that's going to be your surprise team because they're building a team there that I think can get it done. I think in the right situation, the Jets could get it done. I think the Jets could beat the Jaguars. So with the mindset as of right now, the Colts look to be the absolute favorites to win that division. The Jacksonville Jaguars would finish second, and I don't think they're going to get enough wins to make the playoffs. Compared to the other teams, I think it's going to get really, really close at the end. We just talked about the Raiders, who could be good. The Chargers are leading, the AFC West. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and they're going to get the receivers back in a few weeks. So, and then the Broncos may surprise us all and fucking figure out how to play football under Sean Payton. There could be 4 teams right there. There's only 4 spots left. And we got 3 other division winners that are going to get in. So who's going to be that last team? Not saying that all 4 teams in the AFC West are going to make it. I'm fully aware of that.
I don't know that that's possible.
I mean, yeah, we'd have to do the math on that one. I'm sure it is.
I don't think so.
I think we've seen 3. No? We have seen 3. We've seen 3 out of the 4.
3 is definitely possible, but that's that last team is getting beat to shit by everybody in their division.
The last time I can remember, mainly because it's my division, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Chiefs all made it. The Broncos were just not good. It was like a rush year. They won like 4 fucking games. Like,
did it not happen? Did it not happen last year? Was it not the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers in the playoffs last year? Am I crazy?
Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers, actually, yeah, I think they... so, again, the AFC West continually has 3 teams. You're saying this year is...
Not continually,
not the
just recently. I mean, there was a...
Yeah, over the last couple of years, it's been 3 teams from the AFC West.
Point in time where it was Steelers, Ravens, Bengals in some order.
There's only 5 other spots left. And then you have... let's say Joe Burrow doesn't go down. You have the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Ravens from your division. Then you have your divisional winners with the Colts and the who's the last division there in the Bills. That's your playoffs right there.
We'll see what happens. I think the Jags can sneak in. I think it's sneaky. I think it'll be between the Steelers, Bengals, Broncos. I think will all be jostling for position. Potentially the Patriots at the end there.
I don't see the Patriots.
If the Patriots can live up to their talent, they can be there for sure. But all right, let's move on from that.
Yeah, Colts are the Colts. We don't even talk about this game. Indiana Jones, we talked about last week. That
I wasn't
podcast in there.
I was moving on to to the Falcons-Panthers game.
We didn't talk about this one, though. The Colts look incredible right now, and I think they're the best team in the AFC right now. After 3 weeks, they're the best in the AFC.
I buy that.
Yep.
I'm buying Colts stock right now. If you're a Colts fan,
100%.
you should be happy, and you should be buying Colts stock.
If you're a football fan, just to see like the shit that they've been through since Andrew Luck, and now they're what they're at now. I think it's awesome to see. As a football fan, it's awesome to see.
I like it. Excited. I think everybody loves it for Daniel Jones, all the fucking licks that he took in New York. I think people like it for Jonathan Taylor. I think there's a lot of Jonathan Taylor sympathizers out there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look forward to them being a decent team moving forward. I think they have some suspect things,
their
with their
owner passes away and 3 daughters take over the team or whatever it is, and they're doing well. It's cool to see.
I'm just a little bit suspect of their wideouts. I like Pittman, I like Downs. I just don't know if they're the overwhelming like outside talent that you need to make a deep run. But what do I
Buddy,
know?
now, we're talking about 2 different quarterbacks here, but if we want to just look at wideouts, Kansas City won a Super Bowl with Juju Smith as their number 1 wideout. So I think it's possible.
Well, yeah, but you're also talking about one of the 5 or 6 best quarterbacks to ever play the game. In my opinion, some people have them, top 3 or whatever you want to put them, top 5. But
I'll give you 5 or 6 for now.
I'd have to think about it. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, talent-wise, he's up there and he's produced results. I don't put them in the same.
We'll do a one-off episode where we do our top 5 in every category.
That's not the same position. I don't think. And they let's not get it mistaken. Andy Reid's no slouch, right? Like we'll leave it for definitely in consideration for the best ever do it for me in my eyes. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah, dude. But let's move on from that. Good for the Colts fans, but let's get to the we don't really. There's not much to talk about here except for Michael Penix getting benched during the Falcons game. Is there anything that you really want to cover there?
No, I mean Bryce Young didn't turn the ball over. We got some rushing touchdowns. 30-0 though. Yeah, Michael Penix not looking good. I don't know if the benching was necessarily due to performance because it's not like Kirk Cousins did much more. I think it was more of, hey, this is supposed to be our franchise guy. Let's get him the fuck out of here because this is an absolute slaughter right now. But not a good look for the Falcons, who a lot of people I think were riding kind of high coming into the season, and it's just not showing on any part of the ball. Bijan, not terrible, 13-72, but outside of that, there's nothing good on the Falcons side. I am ready to move on from that one.
Steelers squeak one out against the Patriots. This was another one of those hero plays. I believe this came off of a blocked field goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy that all these happened like the same week. It seemed like it was happening like
last year
game
too.
after game. Like it was like a couple minutes after it happened to one team, it was happening to another team, and it was like, is this NFL rigged? Is this a psyop that we're living in right now? The Steelers moved to 2-1. I just think they're a run-of-the-mill average team. I think the Patriots are still getting used to their young players. They're talented. I think that they can go on a run towards the end of the season and be in the mix for a playoff spot at the end of the season. But I don't know. There's not a lot for me to talk about with this one. I don't really care for either of these teams particularly to give them airtime.
I think Steelers figure it out and get better as the season goes on. Again, we are still only at week 3, but we only have 18 to fucking sort it out total with the bye week. The biggest upset of the week, though.
Yeah,
let's talk about this one.
Most giant upset of the week, and we're talking about a game that was 10-0.
It should have been a one-sided affair. It should have been 40-0.
Yeah, what do we think happened to the? I mean, the Browns have an elite defense. I wish we could switch the Bengals and the Browns defense. That would make me very happy. But
Browns got a defense. They had 0 run game for the Packers. Their top rusher had 30 fucking yards. I can't. Who was it that went out last week with the collarbone injury? Reed, right? Mm-hmm. Is his name?
Jalen.
Yeah, something like that. Reed for the Packers. I talked to a mutual buddy of ours who's a Packers fan, and I was like, what are your thoughts on that? And he said, well, he's not really worried about it. He's not our top guy. Their top receiver is Golden, their rookie, and their second is Josh Jacobs. So I do wonder if that injury really played that big of a role. It's something to definitely look at going forward because, their defense still played stout. I don't think Joe Flacco's 85 years old, but he's still not a slouch, right? He can still kind of get it done. He got it done just enough to finish this game. Their kicker really did the rest of it. But defensively, they look good. Offensively, this is the weakest they've looked all year. And I don't know what the fuck happened.
I think this was just...
Is it a trap game?
Yeah, a little bit of a trap game. I don't like to call it a trap game. I think it was a down week for the Packers. I think they just had a bad week.
Have it now, let the Browns get a little moral victory out of it,
The one thing I'm concerned about is the way that they run their offense, and they've run it this way for years and years. It seems to supersede their coach or whatever, is that they spread the ball around probably more than any other team in the league. And not having...
They can't choose a true number one, you know?
And I think that it gives you advantages in some places, disadvantages in other places. I think you got to get Golden involved more. You got to make the young kid feel comfortable. And I'm not just talking about in end rounds. They seem to like to run him more than they like to let him run routes and try to catch the ball. And I don't know if that's has more to do with him or them. I don't know who that's on, but Quinshon Judkins looked good for another week. He had basically a 100-yard game, touchdown. He's the workhorse for the Browns now. I think that you're going to see that moving forward. I think that's good for the Browns. When the Browns can establish a running game, they have an opportunity to win games because they're going to be a low-scoring, play defense type of team, and they need to use all the clock they can get to win games. We'll see what happens to the Packers. Let's see if the Packers can bounce back from this. I'm not ready to write them off yet. I don't want to say that, they, aren't as good as we thought they were. I think they're still maybe the team. Maybe they're not the week 1 team, but they could be the week 2 team. And I don't think that they're the week 3 team. So the week 1 team was, them at their very best. The week 3 team might be them at their very worst, right? So let's see what they average out to be. I think they're going to be just fine. They're going to be in the playoffs. They need to look forward to that. They need to stay healthy, get healthy, stay healthy, and figure out, what their process is going to be. But good for the Browns, dude, getting a win. Love to see it. Do we have any winless teams left in the league now?
Yeah.
Giants?
Yeah. Texans we just talked about.
Oh, yeah, the Texans. I forgot about the Texans.
Texans. Giants,
Jets,
Saints.
Dolphins. There's so many actually.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's
Titans.
The amount of undefeated teams is dwindling down, but defeated, there's a lot of those. Packers do go to Cowboys this week. It's a Sunday night football game. I'm very much looking forward to that.
It's going to be tough, dude.
Micah Parsons coming home.
Cowboys are going to be looking to bounce back after getting destroyed by Chicago.
100%. One of the worst fucking games, I think. That was probably second biggest upset of the week. But yeah, that was pretty bad.
I think that this is going to be a problem for the Packers. I think before I would say that the Packers are going to go in there and dog walk them, but after taking a 31-14 loss against the Bears, the Cowboys might get up for this game. We'll have our picks later, but think about it. Think about it, boys and girls.
It's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, let's talk about the Jets put up a fight against the Bucs, but the Bucs persevered. I think this is a big lesson for all the kids out there. Don't celebrate before it's over, Aaron Glenn.
It's got to be, if it's not the top, it's 100% top 5 most embarrassing moment you've had to have been part of. If you're that guy, the dancing on the side, the little fucking, and then they lose. It's embarrassing. I think overall, though, and here's why that division could get weird, too. Obviously, the Bills are going to run away with it at this point, but, another potential team that can sneak in, this is with their backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, who I didn't even know was still in the fucking league. Baker, I love Baker. I think the Bucs are going to easily win this division when it's all said and done. But they struggled against the Jets, and the Jets did look pretty good. Aaron Glenn thought they finally got their first win. But yeah, absolutely don't celebrate. Bucks are going to have to fucking clean some shit up if they want to continue on this journey that they're on. But hey, Baker, we'll see what happens with him too. I think he got a little banged up in this game. But him jumping up in Dude Man's face after he got tackled and been like, yo, fuck you, was kind of tight. That's just how Baker does. But yeah, Bucks barely sneak out with this one. Another field goal to win, and I think it was a block to set up the win. So another block field goal in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Bucks. They, were supposed to win this game, and they almost didn't, but they did. So
yep,
can't talk about it like they didn't. The Jets got to build off this. I think they are still consensus a dog shit team, but.
I wouldn't say dog shit. There's a lot of dog shit teams out there. The Texans, the Dolphins.
At least they were able to put up. I mean, listen, I don't think their coach should be fired. I don't think Aaron Glenn's on the chopping block for this or anything like that. But
nah.
I mean,
they just got to clean up some stuff.
Secure the win, dude.
Quarterback goes down.
Secure the win.
I agree. They're playing like the Chargers of yesteryear. And then speaking of the Chargers, they sneak one out over the Broncos. I don't think they look that good, and there were some questionable calls in this one as well.
This is my best team in the NFL right now, not just the NFC, or the AFC, but the NFL. I know you said that you like the Colts, but they sneak one out, but you got to sometimes. It's a division opponent. We all know division games are different. All right, division games are always different. You always have trouble, or it's either 1 point or 100 points in a division game. It's never like just a one score, like a weird 7-point, 12-point game. Like no, it's always.
That's what they did against us, but. I mean, they've stuck some wins out. I mean, I don't think they're best team in the NFL, but I think they're fucking top 3, top 4 easily. I mean, and depending on the week, they could be the best team.
I think as a football team,
charge at the end of the year,
they have all the weapons on offense. They have weapons on defense. They have quarterback in place. They have veteran leadership on the defensive side of the ball. They have what seems to be so far very good coaching. They're getting up for these games. They're scheming them. They're not, making mental errors to the degree that other teams in the NFL are. I think if they can continue that, there will be a time where they can't. Right? They're going to have 2-3 games this year. You need to be very careful about when that happens. If you're the Chargers, but. I think if they continue down this path, they might be they've got to be one of the favorites to be in the Super Bowl. But
yeah, I mean, I hate to see it, obviously, because they're in my division. They're my least hated divisional team, but they are still, one of the teams more hated than the entire rest of the fucking league for me. But Justin Herbert is playing some of his best ball. He doesn't have a stellar touchdown to interception. He's 1-1 in this game, but he threw for another 300 yards. Amarian Hampton is looking pretty good. Najee Harris goes out for the rest of the season in this one. So the dude could barely even get on the fucking field. And then he is now out with, I believe, an ACL injury. So he's done for the year. So that sucks.
I think that's better for the team, to be honest. I think you need Hampton in there with the reps.
Yeah.
I know you need somebody to go in there and give him some relief every once in a while. But I think with Najee, a healthy Najee, especially coming off of, 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons or 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, you feel a little bit more pressure to put him in the game a little bit more, and that might, affect your ability to, game plan and execute your game plan the way that you want to, just because of that. So I think that this actually helps them in the long term.
And the rookie doesn't feel the pressure either, where maybe he won't make mistakes trying to overdo what he needs to do.
Yeah, maybe he gets a little comfortable. For sure. And so, hate it for Najee, but if you're Amarian Hampton or however you would pronounce it if I'm doing that wrong,
that sounds right to me.
I think that you just settle right in and have a good time.
Yeah.
Make the most of the season. You're on a good team.
Yeah, no, I agree. Seahawks beat the Saints. The Saints are just dog shit team. There's nothing to talk about here. I don't think the Seahawks are that great. We got Seahawks and Cardinals coming up for Thursday Night Football this week. So as of the airing of this, that's tonight's game. I don't even think I'm gonna watch it. That just sounds like a terrible fucking game.
I'll put it on.
Might as well
I'm interested.
flex that one to 4 a.m. But Seahawks are one of the better teams in the NFC, and fighting for that NFC lead, and they did well against the Saints, 44-13. I mean, just
Cardinals too.
Just bad.
Don't discount the Cardinals. I mean, the only losses to the 49ers, right? So the Cardinals and the Seahawks are tied in their division for second place.
I just think it's time to move on from Kyler Murray. Let's just talk about that one real quick. Kyler, I don't know what's going on here. 49ers pull this one off just barely, 16-15. Mac Jones still looked okay. He didn't look like last week, but he still looked pretty good. And I think the 49ers are going to be fine without Purdy. 49ers, just like we talked about with, what was the team we talked about with, like the Packers and a couple of these other teams, they just need weapons, and they don't have them right now. Christian McCaffrey is their only weapon. But Mac Jones looked fine. But the Cardinals, I was thinking about it, who could Kansas City potentially target, and why not Marvin Harrison Jr.? Why not a guy like that maybe we can coach up and be okay?
Too young, dude. He's there. Nobody's getting rid of him.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
He had an abysmal drop too, just absolutely in the breadbasket.
Really?
Yeah, just an abysmal drop.
Kyler Murray though, 22 for 35 for 159. Like it might
Marvin
be time to move on.
Marvin Harrison needs a reset for sure.
I agree.
Bringing in a new quarterback, I think, might do that. I think you're hesitant to do that if you're the Cardinals. You don't want to, like, when you're in kind of like that middling position, you don't want to lose any status. So like you won't make, like, if they had a dog shit quarterback, like an absolutely like bottom of the barrel quarterback, I think you would see them make a move and like try to go out and get somebody. But the fact that Kyler, it seems to be so middle of the road with a higher level of potential than a lot of guys out there.
I feel like Kyler's
tough. It's tough to move on from that.
Kyler, the Tua of the NFC, probably has better flashes of a career than Tua, but
I think he's just better than Tua. But yeah, I'd say that's a pretty apt comparison. I think if you could do a heads up Kyler for Sam Darnold trade with the Seahawks, I think you make that immediately. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Even worse than this one though. James Conner goes down. He's out for the season. It sucks to see. I mean, dude's literally beat fucking cancer and then, multiple injuries, and then he goes down again. So I don't like seeing that. That really sucks. But, yeah, this team's got some work to do. I understand they're 2-1. San Francisco somehow sneaking out at 3-0. But, like you said earlier, sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to sneak those wins out. And, at the end of the day, a lot of people last year were like, well, Kansas City just winning these one-score games, and if it just went this way, yeah, if, right? But we did it, and then we did it all the way through the fucking Super Bowl. So win is a win is a win is a win in my book. And, congrats to the 49ers pulling one out here.
Yeah, you got to win. They keep pulling them out and make me look like a fucking dummy for calling Kyle Shanahan a fraud. I still think Kyle Shanahan's a fraud. I think that he's lucky to have the talent around him that he does. I think if you put him...
Bears demolished Cowboys. We hinted on... Are you talking?
No, I'm done. Fuck Kyle Shanahan. That's all I'd say. I don't like him.
You froze on my screen a little bit. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, Bears, Cowboys like Caleb Williams look like an absolute football god for the first time in his career. Do you have anything to say about this? What the fuck is wrong with Dak Prescott? Dude looks like he's dog shit. Caleb Williams throws for almost 300 yards and 4 fucking touchdowns against what should be a middle of the road defense.
When you go
slightly better,
when you go 31 for 40, when you're completing 31 passes, and you're only gaining 250 yards from that,
all screens.
That's a problem.
2.5 yard screens.
That's a problem. Was there nothing downfield? I get taken what the defense gives you, but then you're getting no yak. So somebody's not doing their job there. And then same thing. You're going 31 for 40, so you're missing 9 balls, and you're telling me 2 of those 9 balls are interceptions, right? Almost 33%. It's something like 26% or like 24 or whatever percent of your incompletions are actually turnovers. That's nuts. That's a crazy thing. I don't know what is going on with Dak.
He doesn't look the same. Like, I think it's expected. Like, they're going to do the Cowboys thing, right? They're going to go to the playoffs. They're going to lose in the first round to the Packers or whoever it is, right? And it is just what it is. What it is. But like Dak has lit it up. Dak has been a top 5 quarterback when he's on the field. At least as far as, like stats are concerned, not like, oh man, I want Dak on my team. But as far as stats are concerned, he's backed it up. He is a top 5 quarterback, and that hasn't happened at all this year. It doesn't help. CeeDee Lamb does go down in this game. He's out for at least 3 to 4 weeks, it looks like, with a high ankle sprain. They're considering IR for him. So it's the George Pickens and who the fuck else is on that team?
Dude, I mean, you got to shout out my man, the tight end himself, number 87, Jake Ferguson, who hauled in 13 receptions for 82 yards.
It's true.
I mean, if you're catching 13 balls, that's pretty impressive. Only 82 yards is kind of nuts. I mean, you're getting tackled right away. But, 13 receptions, 13 receptions, sure hands.
Another little stat. Did you know CD's name is Sedarian?
I knew that it wasn't CD. I did not know that it was Sedarian.
I thought it was CD this whole time. He is Sedarian DeLeon CD Lamb. CD in quotes as his nickname. Didn't know that. Just looked up his injury because I knew he was injured. I just didn't know the extent.
Love to hear it.
That's kind of awesome. Cowboys got a lot of work to do. So, you talked about the Packers coming in there and it could be a good game. Packers got to figure it out. I think losing CD is gonna be a big factor in this game, especially with the Packers having seemingly what looks to be a pretty good defense so far. Good enough, at least,
I think this is the game you get George Pickens gets up for, dude. He's got all that weird attitude stuff. I think he gets up for this game. Now, he's either one of two things. He's going to have I'll call this now. I'm going to project it right now. He's either going to have a 7-reception, 182-yard, 2-touchdown game, or he's going to get ejected in the first quarter. Well, let's see what happens. And it's George Pickens, so either could happen. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I might put him in on fantasy this week, so let's hope he does well. Moving on, we'll go over my game. We beat the Giants. If we lose this game, the season's over. We pulled it out 22-9, so it's not even just a win. It's a pretty decent victory, but we've got a lot to do. I'm going to take a timeout real quick because I thought I was going to be able to get through this, but I'm about to piss my fucking pants, so I'll be right.
Hey, Flag on the Play listeners. I just wanted to check in with you. It's the Duke here, and let's go over the Duke's power rankings in the NFC. The number 1 team in the NFC right now I got in the power rankings is the Lions. Now, I know that they are 2-1, but they're coming off of a big victory against the Ravens in a primetime slot on television, and I just think that they have the most talented team. Number 2, I'm going to put the Eagles out there. I think the Eagles, they're 3-0. They're rolling, previous Super Bowl champs. I think you got to give them a little bit of respect here. And they're gonna remain a top 2-3 team until they end up taking a loss. So I got the Eagles in the second spot. Third spot, I'm going Rams. The Los Angeles Rams. They took a hard loss to the Eagles this week, but I think that they're potentially the second best team or third best team. I think they're the second best team in the NFC. I think that they're a little bit better than the Eagles, but as far as momentum swings goes right now, they did just take that loss, so you can't rank them above them. I like the Rams a lot, and I think that they are going to continue to be in the top 5 in the NFC power rankings. Fifth, I'm gonna throw the Packers out there. I know that they just took that loss to the Browns, but I think you knock them down a peg and you don't knock them down anymore. I mean, I like the Packers a lot, and I think they're continue to be a good team this year. And then circling out the Power 5, I'm going to give it to the Washington Commanders after a bounce back after Jaden Daniels' injury, along with some other considerations going on. You had Marcus Mariota playing, and then you have Austin Eckler going down for the season last week, and the Commanders find a way to bounce back, put up 40 points against an NFL team, which is always a good thing. And that's going to be my NFC Power 5 listeners. Look out for those teams. They're going to be scrapping at the end, potentially for the chip. Back to the show.
So Chiefs take out the Giants. There's some issues I have, and I don't know what else to do. While I can be happy, we finally get a win on the board. Defensively, we look great. Russ the week before had 450 yards, fucking 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He does nothing this game. He
And
looks
now he's
so
benched.
bad that they benched him. Jackson Dart looks like a high school fucking junior right now. So
I like
don't
Jackson
know how
Dart. Don't you speak shit on Jackson Dart, all right?
We'll see how that one plays out. But, I had a thought that they claim Worthy looks to be trending towards a limited participant in the game coming up. Like, he won't play a full fucking game, but he looks to be like he'll have some snaps. I don't want to rush him back. And I had the craziest fucking, idea. It's going to sound ridiculous. And I'm going to try to word this so it doesn't sound as ridiculous as it's going to sound.
I mean, some of the stuff that comes out of your mouth, you just say it.
That's true. That's true. I truly think that if Worthy's not ready to go, and until we get Worthy and Rashee Rice back, this is fucking insane. I think it's time to put in the legend himself. That's Gardner Minshew. And I want to explain why, because that sounds insane.
We're going to bench Mahomes.
I want to protect Mahomes. We're talking about the guy who's putting it. We talked about it week 1. We talked about it last week. And guess what? 3 weeks in a row, this dude is still truck sticking people like it's fucking Madden out there. He put his shoulder down again. I love seeing it. And I know it motivates the fuck out of our team. The problem is I'm worried. We can't lose him. He's the only good player we have on that offensive side right now. We can't establish a run game. I don't know what's going on there. Isaiah Pacheco's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Why are we not running more than 10 times with him? I've seen this before, but it was pre-Andy Reid. I saw it with Jamal Charles, who was an explosive back, holds the record for yards per carry in a career. And I saw them not run him, 20, 25 times. Like you said earlier, if you got a good defense, you should be running the ball, run some clock if your offense isn't there. And we're not doing it. So for me, you protect Mahomes, you put in Minshew. Here's the thing about Mahomes. Mahomes is a backyard-style quarterback. That is great for somebody like me who's a fan of the Chiefs. He's going to make insane fucking plays that nobody else will do. He's going to throw down, but we don't have the weapons to throw that ball to right now.
Tyquan Thornton, dude, he's looked great.
So here's my thoughts. So let's talk about that real quick. Tyquan does look great, but how many times did Mahomes miss him in the last 3 weeks? I mean, more than 2 hands can count on. He's missed it. If you look at last year, the same thing happened with him and Worthy. It just completely off book until about over halfway through the season. They finally started having that strong connection going. And then realistically, some of their best plays were in the Super Bowl during garbage time scoring plays. Like that were fucking stupid. Those were some of the best connections between Worthy and Mahomes, which is what got me excited about this season. Same thing with Rashee Rice. A year before Worthy came in, Rashee Rice there were some plays there. There was some, this and that kind of playing going on, but that connection really didn't happen until well after our bye week, which was like week 10 that year. Like, I get it because I truly think, and I'm not faulting Mahomes for this. I think his style of quarterbacking is not what some of these receivers are used to, especially coming out of college. They're used to a traditional, probably pocket passer, even in an RPO heavy offense. Just that backyard style of football is not what they're used to. And Gardner Minshew is that traditional quarterback that maybe he's not Mahomes. Mahomes is, you just said it earlier, coming from a fan of not Mahomes, he could be easily right now, if we just ended football right now, he could be a top 5 of all time. The problem is I want to protect him, and I want a traditional guy back there that's just going to make the throws that you're supposed to make and not try to do more than you need to do. Mahomes is always going to do that, and I'm never going to fault him for that. A lot of people argue, well, Mahomes throws, 10 to 13 interceptions a year. I don't give a fuck. Throw 15 to 20 a year. As long as you're winning games and you're doing what you've been doing all your career, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care because that's the style of football he plays. I want that 12 completion in a row Gardner Minshew throwing right now while our best guy is Tyquan Thornton. I love him. I don't know. What was this guy? Come from Patriots? I don't know where the fuck he came from. And Mahomes had some of those traditional passes. He had a bullet to Tyquan's hands in the end zone that only Tyquan could catch. And it was one of the prettiest throws I've seen out of Mahomes his entire career. And it was 4 touchdowns. It helped us out, but we're not going to get that every fucking play from Mahomes. It's a stupid thing that will never happen. There's no way Mahomes or Andy Reid goes for, I don't want to say the word benching because he's still, in my eyes, the best quarterback in the league, but especially with the other best, in my opinion, going down at this point, although Lamar and Josh Allen, luckily we're all in the AFC. The NFC sucks, right? But I don't know. I'm happy we won, but I'm not like, holy shit, we're back. We're not back. We're not even fucking close. And we have Baltimore coming up this week, and I'm terrified. I am truly terrified.
So
I wanted to go to that game.
Here's what I wanted to get to.
Glad I'm not.
Let me interrupt you for a second because here's what I wanted to get to about that. You still need to win games, right? So you're 2 of your next 3 games. You have the Jags in the middle of this, but you have the Ravens and the Lions with like the bread around the Jaguar sandwich. You want to start Gardner Minshew in those games? If you have a chance, the Lions game I can understand a little bit more than the Ravens game. Here's the thing, though. You have the best chance to win with Mahomes in the game against the Ravens, and the farther you can push them down in their own division and in their own conference, I mean, they're 1-2 right now. If they can take a couple of losses in a row and they're potentially, scrapping for a wild card spot, like if you have an opportunity to win that game, like I said, I understand that not even a non-conference, non-divisional, non-conference opponent in the Lions, you can take that loss and live with yourself. The Lions are a good team. The Ravens thing, though, I think that if you have a chance to win that game, you put everything into winning that game at a minimum. I think Minshew could probably, from your point of view, looking at it, I think he could beat the Jags. I think he could beat the Raiders. The Commanders is going to be a tough game. And then you got like Bills, Broncos, Colts. You have a tough schedule ahead. But, at least, speaking for, the Jaguars and the Raiders games, if you can get to the Commanders game, right, and Worthy's back, and that's post 6 games, right? So Rashid
Rice is back as well. Yep.
Yeah. So if you can get to the Commanders game, that would be fine. But I think you really do need to field. Like I would, if I was a Chiefs fan, and I would want everyone to be playing against the Ravens. I think you want to push them down, make them have to scrap as much as they can for postseason position.
I'm with it, right? And I'll never disagree with this fact, especially being a Chiefs fan. Mahomes, at any point, no matter who's on that field, Mahomes is your best shot to win. I even had the conversation. I kind of went through kind of this with our mutual friend Mike here, and Mahomes at any given point is your best shot to win. There's been a conversation that I've had before in the past with like, if you've got 2 minutes left on the clock and all you need to do is score a touchdown to win, who do you want? Do you want Mahomes? Do you want Brady? Do you want Rodgers? Like, who do you want? I'm always going to take Mahomes in that situation. I've seen him do more with less. The problem is when we talk about less, in this case, we have no fucking receivers. Tyquan Thornton is there. Mahomes looks frazzled. Juwan Taylor's got to go. I forgot to mention that. Juwan Taylor has to fucking go. We paid a guy $15 million last year. His last name's Moore. I think it's Jalen Moore. I'm probably mixing up names here. Something more. We pulled him off a couch, brought him in. He didn't start the Super Bowl. I don't think we were confident on him on the left side. We were more confident in Juwan Taylor on the right side. He is the most penalized player in the last 3 years. It's disgusting. I don't want it. I don't care how fucking much money we paid him. He has to go. I think Mahomes is frustrated with that. He had an easy pass to Kelsey that he completely fucking missed, and that's just not his style.
I see that.
The thing is you're saying give them. He's always the best. I don't think we beat the Ravens no matter who's on that field. So why put him in harm's way? Why do again? This is an absolute off the wall hypothetical that would never happen in the history of the NFL. But if it's me and I'm the coach, I'm gonna have that conversation with him and say, what are your thoughts? Let's just fucking get him out there. Let's see what happens. Maybe instead of forcing Gardner to throw it and then let the Ravens just intercept the ball. I mean, Gardner's known to throw interceptions. He's also known to throw incredible completions back to back to back. Maybe we establish this run game that we're missing right now because it's Gardner Minshew out there. I don't know what else to do. We've got to figure it out. I'm so glad I'm not going to this Ravens game. I really wanted to go. Tickets weren't bad. I thought my wife was going to be looking to purchase, and then she said, well, then we got airfare, blah, blah. I guess we're not going clearly, but, you know, I don't know what to do, and I'm upset because right now my best hopes is we do get some of these games. Somehow some of these 3-0 teams start dropping like, you know, the Bills and shit like that, and we start salvaging some win. Like, the Bills and the Chargers both need to lose this week, and we need to pull out a miracle against Baltimore. And then I'll be confident and say we might actually have a shot because in a few weeks we get Rice back. We'll have a hopefully fully healthy, you know, or at least as fully as he's going to get worthy. I'm still looking for a trade. I think we need to make something happen regardless.
All right, well, we'll see what happens there. Let's get to this last game and our picks for the week and then wrap this up because it is getting late and I do have to go to work tomorrow.
Lions-Ravens. Lions pulled out 38-30. Ravens didn't look so good last night. Derrick Henry fumbles again. I didn't know Derrick Henry fumbled last week, too. 3 weeks in a row, he's fumbled the ball.
Do we think he's more of a liability at this point than an asset at the end of the game? Do you think they're going to start pulling him in these clutch situations and not playing him?
I mean, who's their backup, though? Justice Hill? I mean, to be fair, Derrick Henry... Now, don't get me wrong, Giants have... they're another team with an incredible defensive front. So Giants have a good... Or I'm sorry, the Lions have a good defense. Derrick Henry only rushes for 50 yards. 12 carries for 50 yards. Mark Andrews shines in this game.
His season.
How do you pull Derrick Henry, though? You know?
I don't know how you do it, but you're
That's
talking
the
about...
same as pulling Mahomes. In my opinion, just a different position.
Talking about 3 weeks in a row. I mean, are you going to not put the ball in his hands? I mean... He's the
Who's
guy.
their backup, Justice Hill?
Yeah, Justice Hill, I believe, is the second stringer on the squad.
I mean, they're the only two rushers they had this last game were Derrick Henry, 12 for 50, and Lamar, 7 for 35.
I mean, listen, Derrick Henry's the kind of guy, he's going to go and he's going to work on it and he's going to make it right. But if you're...
3 is bad.
If you're a fan, it's always going to be a little unsettling if you're in the end of a close game and they're handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. You're going to have PTSD flashbacks to this time. And it's going to be one of those things that, you know, if it never happens to him again, nobody will talk about it. But if it happens, you know, even one more time, it's going to be an even bigger deal. You know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think the stat was in the last 2 or 3 years, he's fumbled a total of 3 times. In the last 3 weeks, he's fumbled 3 times.
Yeah, and then people are going to start to bring up the age and is he washed up and, you know, as he just kind of like, is this the point that he's at in his career and do they need to, you know, start looking for a replacement elsewhere? I mean, he's the king. Look at the way he runs the ball. Look at the way he's built. I think his teammates have all the faith in the world in him. I think he'll get it figured out. It saddens me that he's a Ravens player because I'd like to root for him, but I can't. I hope he fumbles more.
I mean, I think he still has a step for sure. He's still got the power. He was extremely visibly upset, not only on the sidelines, but in post-game interview. I mean, the man even went to go slam his helmet. He slipped on the side, almost slipped into the bench. I mean, I feel bad for him. I think he's better than what even the stats of that game show. Some teams can shut him down. Kansas City's had a history of being able to get it done, and I'm sure we'll look to be doing that again this week, and maybe we'll have some guys learning how to punch the ball this week. I think that's something we'll be working on pretty big.
Hey, and like I said, I want to personally thank the Lions for keeping the Bengals in the lead in the division this week. Thank you.
Lions look good. Lions are back, I think. I think they're fully back. I think they are not week 1 Lions. This is a team we expected, and I think Lions are going to be once again fighting for the top of the NFC come year's end.
Yeah, and I don't think they ever were week 1 Lions. I don't think anything to ever worry about.
Well, it was a coordinator issue, right? They lose both coordinators, or is it the coordinators that were really good? If those coordinators, except for, you know, I mean, Aaron Glenn learned how to dance, and then, you know.
Listen, you look at the talent on that team, they're going to figure it out every time. As long as they have that central group of guys in there, they're going to figure it out.
I agree. Great. They look good. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, still the the best 2-headed monster in a backfield.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that on my team. They look insane. Lost fantasy because of it. Thanks a lot, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. right,
let's get to this week's picks.
That's what I was going to say.
All right.
Let's get to the picks.
Hey, you know what? Let's do it. All right, this week, Seattle, again, the Seattle Cardinals game is going to be a Thursday night game. Seattle's favored by only 1.5, which is surprising. Over under 43.5.
Hold on. Let's start tracking this. I'm going to start tracking this for us so we can keep score.
Okay, good.
So what are the teams in this one? We got Seattle, Arizona.
Seattle, Arizona.
All right.
-1.5 favor to Seattle. Over under 43.5. I'm under, and I'm picking Seattle. And I think it could be that close.
Seattle's favored by how much?
1.5.
And Billy's you're taking Seattle, and you're taking the under?
Yeah, I'm taking the under. Yep.
In this one, will also take Seattle. What's the line?
This could go over.
What's the over?
43.5. 43.5.
I'm going to take the over here. I am going to take the over.
Minnesota Vikings at Pittsburgh. Vikings are favored by 2.5 here. The over-under is 40.5.
Minnesota favored by 2.5. And the over-under is 40.5. I think that this is going to go... God, I want Minnesota to win this game. Do I think they can beat Pittsburgh? I do actually. I'm going to take...
This is also, just so you're aware, this is the London game. Or not London, this is the Ireland game.
I'm going to take...
9:30 in the morning.
I'm going to take Minnesota and the under.
I am going to... I'm going to take the over in this, and I'm actually going to take Pittsburgh to win this.
All right. So,
right in starting off our 1 o'clock games, we've got the Eagles at Bucks. Eagles are favored by 3.5, over under 44.5.
All right. Philly 3.5, and they're at the Bucks, you say?
It's at the Bucks.
43.5 is the line.
44.5.
All right. I'm gonna take the Bucks and the under.
I am going to take the Bucks and the over. I think this is Philly's first loss of the season, and I can't wait to watch it. And I hope, as long as Baker's good, I think he's good. He always plays through it. Ibuka, though, didn't he get injured in this last game? That's the only concern I have.
I think he's right.
Mike Evans went down.
Mike Evans went down, but I think Ibuka's good to go.
Okay, so as long as Ibuka's good to go, I think the Bucks hand the Eagles the first loss. Next game, Saints at Bills. The Bills are only favored by 16.5. With the over-under at 48.5.
16.5 is a lot of points.
Yeah, that was a bit sarcastic there, if you couldn't tell by the little laugh. I mean, this is easy. I think it's going to go over thanks to the Bills, and I think the Bills are going to fucking wipe the fucking... I think
they're going to win by that much, huh?
I think they're going to win by 20.
All right, I'm going to take...
probably 30, because they're going to get that over.
I'm going to take the over as well, but I'm going to take the Saints. I think that it's going to be closer than... I think the Bills are going to win the game. I just don't think it's going to be 16.5 points.
I think it's good. Yeah. I don't think the Bills have the weapon. They have Josh Allen and James Cook and Kincaid.
Yeah,
which is a good trio to have, but they're not as explosive. But the Saints are just that bad, and that's why I'm taking the Bills.
I don't think the Bills get up for this game. I think they win it, and I just don't think they win it in the fashion that they technically should be winning it in.
Browns at Lions. Lions are favored by 8.5, and the over/under is 44.5. I think we stay under in this, and I do think the Lions win by at least 8.5.
I'm going to take the over in the Lions. I think the Lions are going to put up another big game. And I think the Browns defense is going to show some fatigue. I mean, they've been playing outside of their minds for the past 3 weeks. I think it's got to catch up with them at some point.
We shall see. It is in Detroit. It's inside. See what happens. Tennessee at Houston. Houston favored by 7.5. Over under is 38.5. I'm taking the under, and I don't think it's going to be even a 7.5 game. I think a field goal wins this, but I do see Houston winning by a field goal.
So you're taking the under, and 38.5 is a low line.
Yeah, but both of these teams suck and have no offense whatsoever.
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Houston and the under as well. I thought about taking. I was so close to taking Tennessee straight up.
Next game is Chargers at the Giants. Chargers favored by 6.5. Over under 44.5. I think it goes over, and I think Chargers. I could see a 6.5 point game. Depending on what Dart does.
Damn, I just called the Chargers the best team in the league. Am I about to take them? Am I about to pick the Giants to win this game? I am. I'm going to take the Giants outright to win the game, I think. And I'll take the over.
You have that much faith in Dart? The high school senior.
I like him.
Okay.
I like him. I think this is what I would call a trap game for the Chargers.
Okay. Hey, I'd be happy to see it. I just don't see it happening, but I would love to see it. Next game is Commanders at Falcons. Commanders are only favored by 1.5, which I find a little odd. And the over-under is 45.5. I think it hits the under, but I think Commanders win by more than 1.5.
45.5. What's that, like 20 to 30 would be 50? Or, yeah.
21 to 22 kind of game. 22 to 22. I think the Commanders can put up the points, but I don't think the Falcons can. That's just my...
I'm going to do the same as you. I'm going to take the commies, and I'm going to take the under. I don't think it gets that high of a scoring game.
Panthers at the Patriots. Patriots are favored by 5.5. Over under 43.5. Ah, fuck, man. I just keep wanting to go under. I just don't see some of these teams. I think this might actually hit over, and I think the Patriots win 5.5. I'll take that.
I'm going to take under in the Pats.
Okay. Colts at the Rams. Colts are actually not favored in this one. Surprising, to me at least. Rams are favored by 3.5. Over under is 49.5.
49.5. Jesus Christ.
It's a 25 to 25 game, essentially. I think this goes over, and I'm taking the Colts. I think the Colts just don't stop. I know it's at Rams, but you put them inside. See what Danny Dimes can do. Indiana Jones, sorry.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I just think the Colts have the better defense. I'm going to take the under in the Colts here.
You muted yourself to me.
That is correct. I did, but you can cut that out because it was just in Discord.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Colts in the under, yeah, for sure. I like the Colts defense better, so I'm taking the Colts in the under.
Okay. Jags at Niners. Niners are favored by 3.5 with an over-under at 46.5.
Wait, the Jags are favored?
No, the Niners are favored by 3.5.
I misheard the hell out of that.
Did I say the Jags?
No,
Maybe I said the Jags.
I thought that I misheard that. What's the over-under?
46.5.
That's...
I think You know, let's see the Jags change my mind. I'm gonna take the Jags on this one, and I do think it also hits the under.
46.5. Yeah, we're gonna match up on that. I'm taking the Jags in the under. I'm
Okay.
always rooting against
17 and
Kyle.
16 were the last points from each one of them. Ravens at Chiefs. Ravens are favored by 2.5. Over under is 48.5.
Wait, they're favored by just 2.5 points.
Yeah, so I mean, the sports books see something different than I. I mean, I'm obviously going to take the Chiefs here. I think it's going to be that close of a game. I think it's going to be under this 48.5. I think it's going to be like a 24-21 game. I take the Chiefs.
Do I go for the torturers thing here or what my heart feels? I'm taking the Chiefs in the over.
Okay. Bears at Raiders. Raiders are favored by 1.5. Over under 47.5.
They're favored by just 1.5.
Just 1.5, but hey, Bears are gonna be riding some momentum here. I'm gonna take the Bears. I'm gonna take the over.
I'm taking the Raiders in the under.
Okay. Packers at Cowboys. Packers favored by 6.5. Over under 47.5.
Wait, the
I take
Packers
but
are favored by how much?
6.5.
6.5 points? They were favored by a full touchdown over the Cowboys?
Yeah.
What's the over under?
47.5.
47.5. That's so you're taking
based
the
on
Pack?
the way these two. I'm taking the Pack and I'm taking the under. Based on the way these two teams have been scoring, I don't see it going over.
I'm taking the boys, and I'm going to take the under as well.
Okay. Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 2.5.
How is anybody watching this game?
Nobody will be watching this game. This is the first of our Monday night doubleheader. Two shitty games back to back. No offense.
I'll fucking kill you where you stand.
44.5 is the line here. I see this one going over. And I'm taking the New York Jets. Even though they're not favored in this one. I think the Jets pull off the first one this season.
I'm going to take the Jets in the under.
Okay.
I think that this is the Mike McDaniel loses his job game, finally.
We'll see. I hope not, so we can get Tyreek. And then to cap off, starting at 8:16 p.m.
God,
so
that's
they're
too late.
They're
It's just
overlapping
too
each other,
late.
which is good. Yeah, I agree. Bengals at Broncos. Broncos are favored by 7. Over under 43.5.
6.5 or 7 even.
7 even.
That's nuts. Hey, listen, I'll take the guesswork out of it for you. I'll let you pick the Broncos or whatever. But I'm taking the Bengals and the over. I think we bounce back. Jake Browning gets back to that kind of swag that he had in those 7 games that he was able to start with for Joe Burrow before, and offense gets rolling a little bit. Obviously, I don't think the defense is going to stop the Broncos from putting up too many points, so it's going to be a shootout, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with the shootout. I'm going to take the over, but if this was in Cincy, I'd say this could be a closer game. But I'd take the Broncos because it's in Denver. Yeah, I mean, for your sake, as a friend, I hope you guys somehow do pull this off, and I hope both of our teams get miracles. But as of right now, yeah, gotta take the Broncos on this one.
Hey, I didn't pick the Chiefs to save your feelings. I do actually. I think the Chiefs are going to win that game. For some reason, it's just my gut. But I also am actively rooting against the Ravens, but that's not why I picked them to lose. I would never sacrifice a win here in the prediction sphere for that.
Quick news: CJ GJ is let go from the Texans. Kind of a surprise there. I think it was a locker room issue, and they just said, get the fuck out. I think he said, get me out of here, and they said, okay, goodbye.
Pick him up, Bengals. Pick him up, Cincy. Sign him.
Yeah, I'm. It's just a locker room cancer, and I'm not sure that I want him, but I think Cincy could be a very good home for him. Young Ho Koo is going to be signed to the practice squad for the Giants since Graham Gano is having some issues. I think we've been over all the other big news of the week, some of the bigger injuries that have happened. Jackson Dart going to go ahead and get the start this week. Russell Wilson being sat. Jackson Dart still looks like a high school sophomore. But Dayball is trying to save his job, it sounds like. Crowd was insane going through. The only other thing I see here, just a little nod to your team, I guess. I didn't mean to say it like that. I don't mean I guess. I just don't know this person. Maybe you do, but you guys lost Rudy Johnson.
Yes, rip Rudy
today.
Johnson, former Bengals running back. He was a very solid player.
Rudy was a fine person and an excellent running back for us. I didn't mean to cut you off. That's my bad. This is your team. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Let's read the quote.
Hey, rest in peace, Rudy. Thoughts and prayers with the family.
79-25. A young boy.
Yep. Going too
that
soon.
does suck. Yep. I don't like to see any of that. Mike Evans, hamstring injury. Hamstrings are never good. Mike Evans could be out for a while. And he's been struggling with hamstring issues quite a bit over his career, which sucks because the dude's a kind of a legend in my eyes. I was hoping we'd find a way to get him. But anyways, I lost the fantasy thanks to Jahmyr Gibbs. Couldn't make it happen. How'd you do?
I lost. It was very underwhelming. My season's over. I'm 0-3. It's not great.
Well, hopefully our football opinions are better than our fantasy teams. I want to thank everybody for watching this. Sorry about last week. We're going to do some more content to kind of make it up for you. But I'm signing out. I'm Billy, obviously. I don't know why I said obviously. You could be a Billy. You look like a Billy.
I don't think I look like a Billy. I'm not bald.
I don't know, man. That's fair. That's fair.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Billy and the Duke signing off. Bye.
Goodbye.